What do you mean you lost the baby? Go find it.
Hello and yay. What? No. Welcome.
No, not yay.
Not yay.
Welcome.
Welcome.
This is where you best hope for a future.
Welcome to the unspeakable truths that everyone else will be realizing we were right about in the coming years.
The unspeakable truths zone, or the unforgivable truths zone.
Unforgivable, unspeakable. The Bible of unspeakable truths, you could even call it.
The Bible of unforgivable truths.
I think we're narrowing this down. I think we're getting to it. We're getting to the new forced catchphrase. But this week's episode, as usual, brought to you by our Subscribe Star backers.
That's who you have to blame if these anger you.
Yeah, if you're angry at objective reality, blame our Subscribe Star backers and blame
reality,
them.
Personal experience.
Yes, blame them by donating to our Subscribe Star, of course. Join them in the pay piggery.
The pay pig son.
Yes, pay pig son. Won't you come and wash away the weebs? What?
What?
What's wrong with that? What's going on with that? Hey guys, what's going on? Hey everyone, what's going on? It's the latest episode. Today, finally, perhaps covering the wonderful classic Lost. Apparently the 15-year anniversary. I didn't know it's old enough to impregnate. Apparently,
old enough to breed.
Old enough to be killed and hit with a shovel. And no longer alivened, as they would say on Reddit or some shit like that. I don't fucking know.
You're definitely on Reddit. That definitely sounds like a Reddit thing.
Let's put you on Reddit. Anyways. So yeah. So of course, doing our job, doing the most important part of our work, going to
doing
know
other
your
people's
meme.
job. In fact, this isn't our job. This is other people's job. They're not doing it.
Yeah.
So now it's fallen to us.
It's fallen to us to go to know your meme and just start reading what it says there. Loss, also known as cadbortion, lost.jpg, and then just the lines, the way that this comic has been boiled down into the line. Although first, right here, Control-Delete by Tim Whatley, and it's just 4 animated GIFs from Seinfeld of Kramer walking into a hospital, being directed by Seinfeld somewhere, and then going to a doctor, and then Kramer is visiting Seinfeld in the hospital, even though Seinfeld was directing him, I guess, to where he himself would be.
Said the N-word so hard.
Yes, they put Seinfeld in the hospital. I remember that episode. I've never seen Seinfeld before in my life. I love that episode. I've never seen Seinfeld. Anyways, here's an example, though, of just the lines being the comic itself. So many memes came out of this that it was reduced to just a series of lines. The single line, then one line and a shorter line, then 2 equal lines, and then one line with a prone.
It's like people were trying to deconstruct it to find the meaning.
Yes, this is. I think finally they have found the true meaning of Lost by boiling it down to this. Here is the original comic by itself, where he comes into the hospital. In a way, the awkward way, like his head is craned forward, his hand is pushing forward as he's also running to the side, because the comic was always drawn with like just drag and drop like clip art assets. And then again, there's no punchline unless you do count his wife had a miscarriage as a punchline. But yeah, the second one is just lady pointing. And again, it's like the CAD rule. You could have deleted the second and third panels and it would have been at least more concise and still make just as much sense. I think we've done a video about the CAD rule previously, perhaps a long time ago, in fact. But yeah, then the last one is just her like holding her tummy, like she has a tummy ache or something, I guess. Here, as it's explained on the Know Your Meme page, I think for the 10-year anniversary, was the comic was replaced with a comic called Found, and at the end he's just smiling. Apparently he actually uploaded that himself. That's kind of bizarre. But then here is is this a butterfly or is this a pigeon? The guy, anime guy, gesturing to the butterfly, and the wings on the butterfly have the lines in them, just like in the thing. It says, "Is this lost.jpg?" Which it is. Of course it is. And then here's just tiny, like, pixel art MS Paint version. Although this might be shrunk a bit. Let's see if I can get this. Yes, here we go. The full size, which is the exact same. Wow. It said it's the lines in the form of the lines, but the lines are text. It's ASCII, if you will, saying, "Is this loss.jpg?" And then here's
it is.
It is. Here's one where it's 4 pictures of bunnies where the first one is just bunny ears profile, so it's like just one ear visible technically, then 2 ears, and then 2 ears sort of more upright, and then the last one is a bunny ear where one of its ears is upright and the other is sort of flopped down to the side. What could this represent? Well, now we know. So getting to some of the loss. Here's the Know Your Meme page, just to go into the original history. Origin on June 2nd, 2008. Buckley, also known as Fuckley, posted a strip titled Loss, in which the female lead, Lila, suffers a miscarriage. The strip marked a significant change in tone from the usual comedic comic, and the poorly executed drama of the comic spurred Control-Alt-Delete's significant anti-fandom to mockery. That's one of the only comics to have a good, thriving anti-fandom. I remember people would post Control-Alt-Delete comics to V all the time. That was clearly an anti-fandom, which I think was a good thing. It's a good example.
I mean, that was the thing is, fucking, he got a lot of attention essentially from people who were like hate following him.
Yeah, and the sad thing is,
turning him into a lol cow.
As a result, he was. It's sort of like that Sir or Senior Pello thing of they criticized me and now I need to improve. And that's kind of what actually happened to Tim Buckley, is he actually improved with his comics, where instead of just making them the same old exactly
I remember
time,
way back in the day, even before lost.mpreg.
Yes.
But I mean, way back in the fucking day, I remember reading some of those comics. And it was like, if you just took it as really cheap Gag-A-Day video game related, it was at least as funny as Penny Arcade.
Yeah, at least. In fact, it was pretty much the same structure as Penny Arcade, but there was also a lot of webcomics at that time had identical structures. It had the 2 guys sitting on the couch who play the video games, the robot friend, the girlfriend, the weird random guy who shows up, sometimes is just the second guy on the couch. Control-Alt-Delete was that. Penny Arcade was that. There would be meme characters that were just one-note jokes who would show up for a strip to basically fill in for the punchline.
Oh, well, yeah, sometimes several. I remember more than one. Control-Alt-Delete, Penny Arcade, and Questionable Content had like a robot side character that was a game console.
Sinfest was another example too, of course.
I don't remember the one in Sinfest.
Well, Sinfest was an example of that kind of same formula.
Yeah.
And there are probably a giant pile of other. I think was it Shredded Moose? I think was another one, and I only remember that just because it became infamous for being so cringe intentionally, where the creators sort of divorced themselves from it, and also some complete psychopath fucking dedicated their lives to reviving it and rebranding it themselves and turning it into their own comic, while trying to also reformat it into something new. And the creators of the original Shredder Moose were like, yeah, go ahead, whatever, I don't care. And yeah, just that. It was some crazy person who I barely even remember existed. I just remember that because they tried to be involved with Shitty Webcomics back in the original blog days. But anyway,
yeah, I remember that person in particular because they were acting like they were like the fucking ultimate creator. They're the ultimate fucking fundamental.
Well, they acted like they were a fan of ours, and then they started going around telling people that we were racist, transphobic bigots and that kind of stuff. And it's like, but you were fans of ours. That means you're probably even more of a racist transphobe. I think they turned out to be a true Naloon themselves, but then again, most people are these days.
And this is also why I don't believe anyone when somebody's like, oh, they're fucking really creative. They're actually secretly genius, but they happen to be fucking schizophrenic, and it's like, they're not a genius.
Yeah, if you're a real genius,
fucking moron, then
you would have cured it with your mind, just like the wonderful Charlie Sheen said. If you got a disease, cure it with your mind, pretty much. Anyway, so that we'll be doing Loss Month, I guess, where we're just milking this content for or this comic, this one meme from the comic.
It's gonna be like floss.
It's so much loss. It's floss, flossing on the graves of what was once a very not okay comic that is now okay.
Is that worse than Default Dancing?
Acceptably mediocre, perhaps. Yeah, it's. I believe it is worse than Default Dancing, for sure. Anyway, so yeah, we'll be covering some more of this in coming episodes, just because, again, it's easy content. And we did cover Control-Alt-Delete previously. So, in fact, we may have covered Loss previously. I don't think we did, though. If I did, we completely forgot.
10th anniversary. I just don't know if we did a video about it.
We didn't do any videos about that for the 10th anniversary, because that was 5 years ago. Wow. This will be long after the actual 15th anniversary, of course.
Seems like 1,000 centuries ago.
Yeah, June 2nd. So that was this month. That was a week ago for us, but when this video goes up, it will be months later. That's too bad. Entry editor's Odd Guy. Hey, he was a guy from the Bad Webcomics Wiki, and he was also a fan of our wonderful blog. So, yeah, this became a huge meme just because of the way that people were sort of tired of Control-Alt-Delete back then, of just the lame gags that were just such stock formula, and a perfect example of the way that webcomics were lazily made, like Gag-A-Day comics especially, were people just doing what they had to do to phone in a new page every day. And in a way that's changed a bit for Buckley, who may have actually improved as an artist. We've seen some of his more recent stuff, and it's like, well, this is better, at least a bit. So, yeah, I definitely don't have animosity towards him. It's not exactly like Tatsuya, who is clearly still a complete, total feminist.
Yeah. He's Tatsuya is also very thin skinned.
Yeah.
That's the key thing. That's his defining trait, is that if you even just criticize the comic, he's going to fucking attack you. He's going to ban you from his fucking forum.
Yeah, that's most likely what his current Sinfest comics are about, is just an endless feedback loop response to troons who hate his turf comics, essentially.
Because he's such a male feminist simp.
Which, again, male feminist, what does that usually imply? Mysterious. Hoo-wah. Hoo boy. Whoa mama.
Oh mama.
Mama, whoa mama, whoa mama, mama. Oh, never mind.
Oh.
I could go for a big old whomp right now, yeah, and I'm loaded with secret sauce. Yeah, come on.
We need to hear the whole. We need to think of the whole thing every time. Make the clip as long as fucking possible.
Yes, of that wonderful, wonderful classic scene from The Nutty Professor
fuckers.
2.
Meet the fuckers.
Nutty Professor 2, Meet the Fuckers. Anyways, so yeah, we'll continue on with more of this delightful coverage of a classic meme. That's what we've been doing this whole time. So good job, Orange You Job, and donate to our Subscribe Star, Become Pay Pig to find out what everyone else, for your only hope for a future, and to find out what everyone else will be saying in that future. And for everyone else, should have listened to Shitty Webcomics.